Welcome back. And now Sibusiso Ncengwa, the man who pleaded guilty to the murder of former African National Congress Youth League Secretary General Sindiso Magaqa, has been sentenced to 2 life terms and multiple additional sentences by the Pietermaritzburg High Court. Judge Nompumelelo Radebe handed down the sentence, declaring Ncengwa is unfit to remain in society following his role in the politically charged 2017 ambush in Umzimkhulu in the KwaZulu-Natal. Joining me now is somebody who, of course, knew Magaqa very well. It's ANC Youth League Deputy President Andile Lungisa. Mr. Lungisa, absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you very much to you and the viewers for inviting me to be able to talk about one of our own comrades. Was a shining star of our generation, was an activist, was very committed to the revolution of democratizing our country in South Africa. A young comrade who called for nationalization of mines, who called for the expropriation of land without compensation, who called for the control of the South African economy, especially the commanding heights of the South African economy. That those were previously disadvantaged, they must be at the center of the economy. Also, they must be able to own means of production in South Africa.
Mr. Lungisa, when hearing the sentencing yesterday, how did you feel, given that this has taken 8 years since, of course, the murder of Magaqa, and that finally someone is being held accountable with regards to this tragic murder?
No, we're happy that there's a finality on the matter. Also, we commend the patience and the work which was done by the prosecutors, including the NPA. Also, we also commend the work which we also commend the work which even the person who have been convicted, which were happy about the conviction, were happy about the life imprisonment. We also commend that he have been remorseful lately, up to a level where we have exposed those who connived at the level of the municipality, at the level of the local leaders in that area, in killing a young man. A young man was committed to the South African Revolution. The former SG of the Youth League, Comrade Sindiso Magaqa, really were happy with the developments. We are calling his generation that all those who worked, who connived in the killing of Comrade Sindiso Magaqa, they must be arrested, all of them. We don't want them in the streets of South Africa. Others, they must even be chased outside of our borders. Those who have really participated in the killing of young comrades. We remember we grew up with Comrade Sindiso Magaqa, where I was in Nelson Mandela, part of the Youth League, where he was also in Umzimkhulu, part of the Youth League. Before that part was given to KZN as part of what is called demarcation processes. He was in the Eastern Cape before. We were still aggrieved until today. We have not healed. Can be killed by the nonsensical criminals who have no value for the life of human beings. Comrade Magaqa fought against crime, he fought against corruption. That's why he was killed, because he wanted a clean municipality in that part of the world, which must be run based on the constitution of the country, based on the Municipal Systems Act, based on the Municipal Structures Act, including all other regulations which have been adopted and the policies to run an effective and clean municipality, also guided by what is called from King 1 up to King 5 reports of good practice.
Mr. Lungisa, you've mentioned there are, of course, many more suspects that are on the loose at this very moment. And Ncengwa is just one of the pieces of the puzzle which will bring the finality of who and the collective that was, of course, involved in the murder of Magaqa. Is that something that you're looking for? I mean, the family of Magaqa is asking, we need more answers, we need more arrests. Is that a sentiment that you share also?
Yes, no, we did more arrests. There were a number of names which were mentioned, others they've even passed on. I think also as a movement, what we must be able to do must expel them, even when they are in their graves. Because in the movement, we cannot allow criminality within our ranks. Those who connive, who go and kill other people, that they will remain in our ranks. Even if they've passed on, we need to expel them and their own graves. That there is no member of the ANC who can pay tribute to them, who can even go and drop a flower in their own graves. What we must just do is go and urinate in their own graves. We cannot celebrate criminality. Those who have not yet been arrested, they must be arrested. That is why we're saying we commend the work of the NPA. They must then conclude by charging those who have not been charged, and then they must be prosecuted. They must also be given life sentences. We also commend the magistrate, the judge, who have handed down that sentence in the High Court of Pietermaritzburg.
Mr. Lungisa, when one talks of Sindiso Magaqa, of course, you were mentioning that he had this ambition to, of course, according to the constitution of the ANC, have a South Africa which the wealth of the country is owned by the majority. You come from that golden generation of the ANC Youth League, where there were names like yourself, Julius Malema, Ronald Lamola, the list goes on. Is his legacy in terms of the current Youth League being seen at this very moment? I know I spoke to you 2 years ago when the current leadership of the ANC Youth League was being elected, but if Sindiso Magaqa would see the current status of the Youth League of the ANC, is it something he would be satisfied with? If not, what would he ask for there to be improvement of?
No. It will take a serious effort for all of us to revive a strong Youth League. But I don't think it will be easy to revive the Youth League in our current times, because all of them will need to, I think, we need to introduce reforms as a movement when it comes to the Youth League, because I think also the issue of age in the Youth League, we need to come closer to that issue, because we need a Youth League which must be led by youngsters, by not people who've got children, not by people who've got wives, not by people who are married, who've got wives, who've got children. They will never focus on the Youth League, because they will think about their own kids, they will think about their own wives. Those who are female, they will think about their own husbands. You need a Youth League which must be led by youngsters. I think what we need to do is to introduce reforms and go back to which is part of the United Nations. Because if you go to United Nations, young people, youth is people who are between the age of 14 and 25. But in our context in the African continent, also in South Africa, we opted for the age of 14 up to 35, because number of young people they were excluded. They fought against the system. If you remember the generation of 1985, which responded to the clarion call which was made by Oliver Tambo and the Radio Freedom, that young people they must make South Africa ungovernable. Now the government of the ANC then increased the age limit of youth, because they wanted to accommodate those who are part of the state of emergency, so they can be part of the development of the country. I think we need to reassess that and change the age limit. It's either between the age of 14 to 30 or between the age of 14 to 25. I think we need to have a discussion between those ages. Is how we will then revive the youth, because we don't need young people who are involved in business, who are involved in tenders, who are involved in many other issues. You need young people who must be radical, young people who must be energetic, who must be able to push all of us in the movement for their own aspirations, for the total aspirations of young people in the country. We must make sure that us as senior comrades who are in the right cause of the revolution in this country, we do not side with the neo-colonialists. We do not implement at the agenda of neoliberalism in our own country. That is why I'm saying we need serious reforms if you need a radical youth like Sindiso Magaqa, a radical youth like Andile Lungisa, a radical youth like Xola Ncengwa, a radical youth like Xolani Sifale, Simphiwe Kgontela, Thabo Mdukiso. If you need really the radical youth, we need to undertake serious reforms if you want people who are going to be like Peter Mokaba, who are going to be radical, people who are going to be like AP Mda, who are going to be like Mxolisi Majombos, Anton Lambert. We need really to reform the current system where a country is being democratized. Many opportunities have been created. Now, if you go closer to those who are at the helm of Youth League, there is a dominant where they aspire to wear Louis Vuitton, they aspire to wear Gucci, they aspire to drive German sedans. They will never take us anywhere. That's the group which we really don't need. They must just come straight to the ranks of the ANC without using Youth League as a decoy. That where we'll expect that they will make any shift in our own country. In fact, what they will do, they will be used as a child soldiers. If I want to be elected, I want to be president of the ANC, I will connive, I will use them. If I want to be SG of the ANC, I will just, if I want to be treasurer of the ANC, I will just use them for my own interest, not for the interest of ordinary young South Africans, not for the interest of the actual youth in the country. I think it's what we need to,
Mr. Lungisa,
to do.
I have to
need
stop.
a radical youth in South Africa.
Mr. Lungisa, I have to stop you there, unfortunately. We have come to the end of this interview. Absolute pleasure having you, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, my brother, my comrade. Okay. Continue doing a great work in your channel, News Focus, which is very progressive. We must always call for the people of Palestine that they must be free. We must call for the people of Western Sahara that they must get their independence. We must always call for the people of Cuba that the blockage must be lifted by the US.
That's Andile Lungisa, ANC Youth League Deputy President. After the break, we're going to be chatting the tax season. It's officially open. I'll be speaking to Yasmin Suleiman, who is a tax partner at Bowman Gilfillan.